The morning exploded with chaos. A car alarm shriek tore through the sleepy haze of Oak Ridge Meadows, shattering the suburban calm. I was in my driveway, arranging ribs on my smoker with the care of an artist, when the noise erupted. Neighbors froze misses. Delaney paused with her coffee mug. The Nguyen kids peeked from their porch. Across the street, a white SUV flashed its lights, and there stood Margaret Voss, our HOA president, her blonde bob gleaming like a battle helmet. Clutching a clipboard, she silenced the alarm with a jab at her key fob and fixed her icy gaze on me. This wasn't a neighborly VY sit. This was war. "Daniel Harper," she snapped, her voice cutting through the fading wail. "What is this monstrosity?" She marched toward my barbecue setup, heels clicking like a metronome, her pastel blazer a beacon of authority. A crowd was already forming. Mr. Peterson idling his lawnmower, joggers slowing to gawk. Margaret, known as the queen behind her back, was about to make me her latest conquest. I wiped my hands on my apron, forcing a grin. "Morning, Margaret." Just firing up the smoker. "Want some brisket later?" My charm bounced off her like rain on asphalt. "This," she said, while VYing at my setup, "is a blatant violation of Oak Ridge Meadows regulations. Commercial enterprises are forbidden in residential zones." She slammed her clipboard against her thigh, and I glimpsed the infamous HOA bind-era 2-inch thick rulebook that govern our lives. "My name's Daniel Harper, and I'm a web developer who's called Oak Ridge Meadows home for 3 years. It's a tidy neighborhood, all manicured lawns and polite waves, but beneath the surface, secrets simmer. When I moved in, the realtor handed me that binder with a smirk, warning me to study it. I skimmed it, noting rules about fence heights and trash cans, plus a bizarrely specific section on approved outdoor active VY ties. I never imagined it would become Margaret's weapon against my weekend barbecue stand. The pandemic had sparked my love for smoking meats. Boredom led me to perfect brisket, ribs, and pulled pork, earning raves from friends. After enough nudging, I decided to sell my food on weekends out of business, just a driveway setup where neighbors could grab a tray of smoked goodness. I checked local laws, got a food vendor permit, and cleared it with most of the HOA board. Tom Reynolds, the treasurer, loved my ribs. Sarah Kim, the secretary, called it a community gem. But Margaret had been on a Caribbean cruise when I started, and her return was like a hurricane hitting my little operation. That first confrontation was a spectacle. Margaret snapped photos of my smoker, her voice booming. "You're turning our neighborhood into a carnival." The crowd murmured, but I stayed calm. "Margaret, I got permits, and Tom and Sarah proved this. I'm done by 4, and it's spotless. My driveway, Gliamedno stray napkins, just a neat table, a chalkboard sign reading Dan's barbecue, and a trash can I emptied religiously." Her lips twitched, frustrated by my tidiness. "The board doesn't decide," she hissed. "I do. This ends now." She stormed off, Leah VYing me to serve customers who whispered about the queen as they paid. I thought it was over a power trip from a control freak. I was wrong. That night, an email hit my inbox at 10:03 p.m. Subject: cease and desist. It cited Rule 52.1, banning disruptive enterprises. By Tuesday, 4 more emails arrived, each digging up obscure rules, one about odors, another about temporary structures that I suspected applied to sheds, not my table. I replied with polite rebuttals, attaching permits and board approvals. My thoroughness only fueled her crusade. The next Saturday, I was prepping when Margaret appeared, dressed like she'd stepped out of corporate drama. Her blazer sported a badge, her clipboard shield. Her smile was all teeth, no warmth. "Good morning, Daniel," she said, her tone syrupy. "I'm here for an official inspection." I paused, tongs in hand. "Inspection for what?" "A health inspection," she declared, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. "I've had complaints about your operation. As a county health department representative, I'm evaluating your compliance." The claim was absurd. Margaret, a health inspector? The woman who'd once fined me for a too bright porch light? Her badge, flashed briefly, looked like a laminated HOA card with extra flair. Her tote bag bulged with the binder. I could have laughed, but her eyes held a dangerous glint. This was personal. Can I see your ID again? I asked evenly. She waved the badge too fast to read. Show me your permits in preparation area. This setup is filthy. It was a TMY smoker was pristine. My permit's legit, but I sensed a trap. Sure, I said, mimicking her smile. Permits are inside. Wait here. She nodded, scribbling furiously. I stepped into my house, shut the door, and called the county health department. The woman on the line confirmed my suspicions. No inspector named Margaret Voss existed, and impersonating an official was a felony. Want to file a complaint? She asked. Yes, I said. Send someone now. Back outside, Margaret was poking my smoker, grimacing like it was toxic. This equipment's non-compliant, she said, clueless about what she was inspecting. She shoved a paper at me. Official closure order, with a pixelated county seal that screamed Photoshop. I took a breath. Margaret, I know you're not an inspector. Impersonating one is a crime. I called the real health department. They're coming. Her facade cracked eyes wide, a flicker of panic. Then she rallied. Nonsense. I'm authorized by our neighborhood safety program. It was a flimsy lie. Then wait for your colleagues, I said, pointing to a lawn chair. They're almost here. She checked her watch, her poise unraveling. I have other inspections, she muttered, retreating to her SUV. I'll be back. Margaret, I called. Running won't help. She didn't answer, but her trembling hands betrayed her. 15 minutes later, as I served brisket to Mrs. Delaney, a health department van arrived, followed by a police cruiser. A woman in a proper uniform stepped out. Inspector Laura Bennett, she said, shaking my hand. Impersonation is serious. Let's see your setup. She re-VYEU'd my permits, inspected my smoker, and nodded. You're compliant, Mr. Harper. Who's the imposter? I pointed to Margaret's house, where she was frantically sweeping her porch. That's her. The officer, a stern man with a calm demeanor, approached her. Margaret's gestures told the story. Indignation, denial, then defeat as he pulled out handcuffs. Her voice carried across the street. This is outrageous. I'm the HOA president. I was protecting our standards, but the law didn't care. Impersonating a health official was a felony, with up to 5 years in prison and a DULA $10,000 fine. As the officer led her to the cruiser, neighbors gawked, their whispers a chorus of shock. Margaret spent 2 days in jail before posting bail. The EVY Denke was airtight. Her fake badge, the forged closure notice, and witnesses galore. At the HOA's emergency meeting, the board voted to remove her as president. She stood, face flushed, and unleashed a tirade. I built this community, she shouted. I safeguarded our values. This is betrayal. Silence followed. Her defiance crumbled, and she left, her heels echoing in the quiet hall. The aftermath was seismic. Margaret's fall exposed her overreach fines for tri-VY, violations, threats over unapproved shrubs. The HOA re-VY set its rules, easing restrictions. My barbecue stand became a neighborhood staple, a place where people lingered, their laughter mingling with the smoke. I kept smoking meats, refining my craft under the open sky. But I never forgot that summer's lesson. In a place as polished as Oak Ridge Meadows, power can blind and pride can burn. Sometimes, all it takes to shift a community is a good plate of ribs and the nerve to stand firm. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.